Good day, everyone. Today, we are going to review polynomials, ACT, and Trig. Alright, our objective is to review polynomials, get to the radicals, rationalize denominators, and trig ratios. Because we are behind, we have a lot to do. This week, I'm not doing tutoring this week. I did it for a trial basis. I enjoyed myself in the tutoring, but I'm just not comfortable with a good number of y'all. So, if you're looking for tutoring for this week, find Bethany. There's a Bethany provide tutors on Thursdays. They after school they'll feed you if you want it. You get your homework done, you could eat. So, take advantage of that situation. You guys really do have a difficult week ahead of you. Makeup assignments. I know because of coronation. I know who those who actually did true coronation. Some of you guys just missed because. So if I say no to you, don't take offense to it. Um, those people with coronation, I give you the makeup work, and you are going to be held liable to demonstrating the material. Remember, I need Dr. notes when you are absent, and do not forget, I have to have it within 48 hours. All right, 48 hours I need it. More than 10 absence will no longer excuse you. So, meaning you miss more than 10 days, I cannot help you with make a work. You're just going to, take some hits. So please bring it. Some of you guys kind of lost your minds. You're playing Howard, and that's what you want to do by all means. Just remember, I already have my education, and I'm doing good. You don't have yours yet, so you may want to try to get it. And you're gonna get it within the 39 weeks, or you pick your seat for next year. This is your choice. Or do it with me again during summertime, because I'm doing summer school, babies. So you may want to really step up because I'm nothing nice during the summer. Speak up when you need to. You guys overall don't speak up. You just want to pass the time and whatever. And that's fine, but I'm gonna tell you all the same. Just for a reminder, no phones, no smartwatches. If I see them, I will collect them. That includes smartwatches. I've been nonchalant about them, but y'all please, because y'all doing a little much. It becomes, you don't know what you're doing. Let me say that. All right, so what I'm going to do this 9 weeks that I did not do the first 9 weeks, every beginning of the week, I'm going to show you grades either for a assignment or your grades as a whole for the, as you currently stand. All right. So this is all about participation. Participation grades are based on your compliance for sure. Because if you are in non-compliance, you're not learning. It's just the truth. There's no one arguing about it. You can't say, "Oh yes, I was on my smartwatch on my phone, but I was doing your work." What does doing your work actually mean? Now I'm still waiting for answers to someone to tell me what does it mean to do in your work. I truly want to understand that. Because from what I'm seeing is, okay, I'm just gonna write down, some notes from the teacher and write down to the girl or the boy who's sitting next to me and turning work in. But I don't have to think, and that's me turning my work. Which that's not you doing the work. Doing the work means that you know what you're doing. And some of you guys, you hopefully you get it before you fail the semester, or you got me again for next year. It's your choice, babies. So here's the time to reflect. So this is first period participation grade. So 10 of them got A's. They really, took heed to what went down the first 9 weeks. One of them got B's, two got C's, one got D, one got F, and the X means that you was absent. So what I'm gonna start doing, every time you will miss, I'm gonna mark an absent. I'm gonna mark the X. So the X means that you was gone that day, and of course you do have a 0 that day as well. But I can allow you to make up, but depend on the rules. If you miss more than 10 days, those X's become zeros. The NP means you got no points, means students don't have a grade, period. I don't know if these are kids who I've never seen before or something of that caliber. So I am impressed with 1A. 1A is really stepping up. 3A. Well, we knew how 3A was going to get it. So only 3 people got A's, meaning that they did well with full participation. 2 got B's, 1 got a C, 6 of you guys got D's, 10 F's of participation. And this is just the first week of the second 9 weeks. Week 1 of the second 9 weeks. I don't get it. And then 4 of you guys was absent, you got X's, and the makeup depends on me. If you miss more than 10 days, I'm not giving it to you. If you miss days just because I don't have no excuse, the answer is no. And then you got a student with no grades. That's what MP stands for. All right. Fourth block. 11 of you guys got A's. Because I will say this about fourth block. Y'all really stepped it up. Y'all took heed to everything. You got with it. No one got no B's. 3 got C's. 4 of you guys got D's. And 6 of you guys got F's. Now, again, X means that you can make it up, but it depends on if you was in coronation or if you was somewhere else with an excuse. Now, I know it's participation, so usually what I do for participation, if you have a valid excuse, whatever you did the following week, I go back and count it twice. So I counted for last week and the following week. That's how I do participation. So I really don't give you an F for participation unless you just choose not to do anything or you just miss because you did not want to go to school versus, oh, I was going for an excuse. This is 5B. 30 of people got A's, 2 got B's, 3 got D's, 1 got F, 5 got X's. X's mean again you was absent. And it depends on if you had a valid excuse, I could give you the makeup work for it, which in terms of participation is what you do the week following. That's where it counts. But if you again chose not to come to school, can't give you that credit, so it's going to turn to an F. 8B, 22 people got A's, 1 got D, and 2 got X's. That AB, that's class. That is a class. I love that AB class. Because AB take everything serious too hard. These are these juniors who I feel comfortable with. And kids who I know going to do well. I can't say that for a good bulk of y'all, but hopefully you guys see your actions and how it plays a consequence into the grade book. Anytime I have to redirect you, you're not learning. Anytime I have to say something to you, period, you're not learning. When you choose not to do something, such as be engaged, you're not learning. So let's learn. All right. And these are the issues. Again, not doing no work, waiting for others, disrupting class, refusing to speak up. You don't know what you don't know what you're doing, and you don't care. And remember, when you don't care, neither will I. The second 9 weeks show me. All right, so about the 5. When I said be about the 5, I mean be about your Algebra 2 business. Come ready. Stay ready, so you have to get ready, of course. By due diligence, academic integrity from the dome to the paper, and be fearless. Now, I'm going to show you some images that resemble pretty much what's going on in Algebra 2. Because, I mean, from the overwhelmingly majority of you guys, it's a fight. Some of you, last night, you took a beat down. You got knocked out, cold out. Some of you are getting up, and some of you refuse to give up. Some, you just don't care, so you're just going to take 3 more 9 weeks of a beating. Some of you don't give up. I say this to all, actually, don't give up. Keep fighting. So you could kick Algebra 2's butt. You are this guy with a flying knee, and you are kneeing Algebra 2 in the face. This is one thing I want to see all y'all. I want to see y'all kick Algebra 2's butt. Or it becomes Algebra 2 kicking, kneeing your face in. How it's going to be. ACT, we are getting into it. Pop quizzes, y'all already know. The 10-page stuff. You guys will be required to do that later in the school year. You don't have to do no 10 pages. Don't forget about my binder check, no checks. I told you guys about it. I'm checking this week, the end Thursday, Friday. You don't have to worry about presentations. I'm already restricting your technology in a way. The precise definition of mathematics, I really do need for y'all to know it. Some of y'all will be calling your parents, which I already did. You may be getting bored out of my class, maybe you can't come back till I get a conference, because some of y'all just lost your minds. You really do need to know this definition. I may provide some more anchor charts doing it my way, though, because I need for you guys to actually start thinking. Y'all want people to always hand you this, hand you that. So the ACT, now listen up. It is part of your grade. You have to be there to take the ACT. I'm grading you based on you taking it. Now, if you're looking for an exemption, that means you actually have to try to pass it. Now, again, when you miss ACT, it does count against you. I need for you to be there to take it. Again, I do not care. I mean, I do care for your score a lot, but you're looking for the exemption. You must have a certain score. So, what is the ACT? American College Testing. Testing to measure your K-12 education knowledge. It's going to ask you some basic questions. It's used to determine who will pay for college, either you or the school. Some will determine college readiness. High ACT scores give you, the more money is given to you. ACT is a grade in this class. If you score less than that 18, and this is for those interested in going to college, it results in remediation and the risk of failure. ACTs are taken very seriously, so you choose to dodge the ACT. Well, you're done with, so you may want to bring it. ACT, they are changing it, and that's going to be for next year, but the ACT session is designed to assess your mathematical skills that you had learned from upper 5th grade to the beginning of your senior year. You got 60 questions, that's 1 hour long. You can take it free of charge. I'll be on Saturday, and when you take it on Saturday, you do get some pretty exemptions. Submit proof of your official ACT scores to be exempt for assignments or quiz exemptions. I would take the ACT by March or April. High ACT scores will give you free money for college. ACT deals on the practice ACTs that we will be doing. You can earn bonus points solely on that if you score 18. And I know it said ACT Math, but in all honesty, I want you to score more than that in everything else. So I'm going to say Math for now, and I'm going to let the other teachers decide their score. But however, a 21, if you scored on the practice test, I could replace her test grade, but 18, I'm going to give you some bonus points. But when you take the official ACT in March, you score 20, you will be finished with everything. And all you have to do is participation and the district test. And of course, don't forget other things I have mentioned to you. Number and quantity demonstrate the knowledge of real and complex numbers. So, rational exponents, vectors, matrices, integers. So, stuff from middle school all the way up to your senior year of math. Algebra, solving for x, limited exponential relationship radicals, finding solutions, and all of that. Functions is algebra 2. So dealing with polynomials, logarithmic functions, translate functions, all of that. Dealing with notations and definitions. Geometry, deal with the knowledge of shapes, congruence, similarities, dealing with objects, triangles, circles, and trig ratios. Now, last year, geometry was one of our best scores in ACT. The other one that was tied with geometry was number and quantity. Statistics and probability. You're going to be dealing with a center, spread, or distribution, apply and analyze data collection methods, understand model relationships and about varied data, calculate probabilities, include related sample spaces. All right. You are going to set up an ACT account. It's going to be fun work. I'm going to be mentioning it to you. I'm going to give you a deadline next week to have it done. If it's not done, if you can't show me proof, 0. All right. So what is mathematics? The truth of it. Here we go again, the precise definition of mathematics. I am, hear me, I am. When we do our binder checks at the end of the week, I'm looking for that definition. Again, the precise definition of mathematics is the technique to explain, understand, and manage reality by ciphering, counting, measuring, classifying, ordering, inferring, and modeling patterns arising in the environment. These are things that we do day to day. And hopefully, I did change your minds and you finally see that math does have a true purpose. It's not something we use to torture kids with. It's something that you do on a day-to-day basis, And again, when we talk about, like, you say, why do you use the letter X and T, all that? In algebra, you use these letters to represent a specific unknown quantity that you're trying to find. Like, for example, if I am selling hot fries, if I gotta make $3,000 selling hot fries, if I'm a gas station, that's easy. I'm trying to figure out how many customers would it take for me to make to that $1,000. And the X represent the unknown customers needed to make that $1,000. There are two types of math. Two types. Abstract. Definition of facts, proofs and theorem postulate, and letters. X, Y, Z, all that nonsense. Applied is you applying it to real life, dealing with concrete and numbers. Concrete meaning like real hard situations. Algebra 2 deals with abstract, graphs, equations, and applications. These are the things that you have been dealing with so far in Algebra 2. Homework, if you have it, come on with it. Alright, let's do our factor review. Pause the video and factor this problem. Welcome back. I trust that you try to work out the problem. Remember, Waiting for me to give you an answer is a detriment because you know I'm going to quiz you as soon as I see you. And it's going to go in the grade book, so you really, really, really needs to work these problems out. So, this is factored by grouping. So all you have to do is put them in groups and find your greatest common factor. That's what all A, B, C, D, all that stuff means. You are pulling out your greatest common factor here and here, and you're pulling them out there. So in this first little group, I realized that my greatest common factor is 3x squared. And what's going to be left is 3x plus 2. Because if I multiply this all back in, I get back to this group. Alright, in the second group, I realized that my greatest common factor was 5. Because if I multiply 5 back into what was left on the inside, I get this guy right here. And both my insides match. Because they both match, that's how I know my answer is correct. So now I just got to take my outer terms, pull them out, and make a factor, and leave my insides in the back. And that's your answer. If you are struggling with this, please, 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 please go back to previous videos, go back to previous stuff that is posted in Google Classroom, because ultimately you are responsible for this. You are. I am not. I'm responsible to teaching it to you, doing practice with you on it, and do my part to make you understand. But however, you have to do your part, because I cannot do all this for you, and nor will I. Try factoring this. Pause the video and try it out. Alright. So this is a sum of different cubes. We know, because of that, you could take out each of those. You will have 3x's minus 3y's. And because you have that means it's going to be one of each, 1x, 1y, 2y's, 2x's, 2y's, and you're going to multiply them together, and that's when it's going to change the sign to be positive. The back is always positive, your middle sign changes. So with that being said, this is what we got. Remember, the middle becomes positive, and the back is always positive. It does not matter if you're doing a sum of cubes or the difference of cubes. And if you are still struggling on that, please go to previous videos that is already posted. Or if you need, go look at the videos I made. Alright, why don't you factor this on your own? Pause the video and try it out. Alright, welcome back. I trust that you realize that you need to find what two numbers multiplied together gives you the back term, and what two numbers add give you that middle term. And we know that 3 times 4 is 12, but 3 plus 4 is 7. And so that's it. Nothing to it. And again, if you are struggling, please go back to previous stuff we have done. Alright. Now I want you to pause this video. Now listen to me. I want you to create a function based off this graph. Pause the video and try it out. Alright, welcome back. So, to do this, you need to look at your x-intercepts. And I'm also going to ask for multiplicity. So, if I have x equals -3, well, I know that the factor form, before I get to it, is going to be x plus 3 equals 0. and x plus 3 to a multiplicity of 1. And we know it's 1 because it cuts through. Right. Again, because it cuts through, it's a multiplicity of 1. So let's do -1. We know the x-intercept is x equals -1. The factor is going to be, well, we got to go back to, before we get to the factor, x plus 1 equals 0, and x plus 1 with a multiplicity of 3. And we know it's 3 because the x-intercept, it lays at 1. Last, we have an x-intercept, or touches the x at 2. So the factor form of that is going to be x. Well, before you get to the factor form, you got to get to the equation. So x minus 2 equals 0. And that's going to be x minus 2 with multiplicity of 2 is 2 because it balances. And voila, here's our answers. Just like that. Bam. That is you writing the function. If you're struggling with that, please, please, please look at videos that are there already for you to practice. Alright, now let's simplify radicals. So, why don't you pause the video and simplify the square root of 98? So, welcome back. Let's see what you got. Did you find the largest factor in the radical that is a perfect power or a perfect square of the index being inside the square root? If you did, you should have found that 98 has a perfect square of 49 times 2. Oh, it did it for me already. So did you rewrite it? Which if you did rewrite, all you're doing in terms of rewriting is just separating the two. So square root 49 times the square root of 2. So that's what it means to rewrite. So the square root of 49, we know square root of 49 is just 7. And we know that the square root of 2 does not have a perfect square, so it's just square root of 2 inside. Alright. Let's rationalize the denominators. So listen. You can never, ever, ever, forever, ever, ever have a radical in the denominator. You can never, ever, 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 forever, ever, forever, ever have that to happen. And when you do, you're going to have to get rid of it. And to get rid of it, you have to rationalize the denominator, which is a technique of multiplying everything by the square root of x. So, the two square roots in the denominator comes out to be x. And then 1 times x is just going to be 1 times square root of x, or just square root of x over x. And that's it. Alright, rationalize the denominator. 5 square root of 2. And let's simplify it if necessary. I told you can never, ever, forever, ever have a square root of 2. You can never have a square root in your denominator. And we cannot have square root of 2 in the denominator, or any number that's a square root. So to do that, we are going to eliminate by multiplying everything by the square root of 2. And when we do that, we get square root 4 in the denominator and 5 times square root of 2. Now, if we look at the denominator, because we are rationalizing it, we know that the square root of 4 is just 2. And it's going to be 5 square root of 2. And we know that the square root of 2, you can't simplify the square root of 2, so it's just going to be square root of 2. Simple, huh? Alright, I want you to try this on your own, exactly as we did it in the previous example. So pause the video and try it. By now, I hope when I say pause the video and try it, you are actually pausing the video to try it. If you're not doing that, you are really defeating the purpose of these videos. And again, I made the videos for you to practice. If you're not using these properly, you're messing yourself up. So let's do it. So did you multiply everything by the square root of 3, numerator and the denominator? And did you realize that in the denominator you get the square root of 9? And you know that the square root of 9 is going to be 3. And did you realize that you don't multiply 6 times square root of 3, so it's going to be 6 times square root of 3? Because unless you have both of these in the radical, you can't multiply. Because when you have square root of 6 times square root of 3, it's square root of 18. But because you have 6 and the square root of 3, you cannot multiply those together. Now here's one thing that you have to do. Well, not have to do. I'm going to say this. I will not be happy with this answer. I want you to take a moment why I would not be happy with this answer. There's something that could be further done to get to the final answer of this. So pause the video and figure it out. So you realize, if you did you realize that you could simplify these out? Because 6 divided by 3 is going to cancel out. It's going to give you just 2, and you're going to be left with the square root of 3. All right. Now, we did all these radicals for a purpose. Now they're going to help us with the trig ratios. Your trig ratios are not going to be just numbers as you think that they're going to be. You're going to have much more to do. All right, so of course, you got, instead of 3, you got 6. You got the regular 3 right here, sine, cosine, tangent. And then you have the inverses. And the inverses are cosecant, which is the inverse of sine. So you see sine with a -1, and that's x. So sine inverse is that. Secant is cosine inverse. And tangent, well, cotangent is the tangent inverse. So that's tan inverse 1x. So sine opposite of a hypotenuse, the inverse is that's hypotenuse of cosine. Cosine is going to be adjacent of a hypotenuse, but the inverse of cosine, which is secant, is hypotenuse of adjacent. Tangent is the opposite of the adjacent. Cotangent is the adjacent of the opposite. opposite. So you're going to have to figure out a way of how to remember those trig inverses, those trig ratio inverses. So now we're going to apply everything we just did today and plus a particular skill from last class period. Remember the Pythagorean theorem? And I even posted the Pythagorean theorem Kahoot in Google Classroom. So we got the adjacent, we got the hypotenuse, but we do not have the opposite. Now we have to use the Pythagorean to find our sides. So I want you to pause the video and work this out. But here's one hint though I want you to realize. Do not forget that when you have a square, because that's what you're using for, squares and square roots inverse each other. So it's going to be left with just x. Hear me? Square and square roots inverse each other. So when you see a square, you do a square root, you inversing them out. So with that being said, pause the video and try it out. Remember, you're using the Pythagorean to figure out the opposite. You should, welcome back. You should have figured out that the opposite leg is 6. Alright, now since we got the opposite leg to be 6, now we could do our trig ratios. So I want you to pause the video and do the trig ratios, not just of the 3, 6. If you need to go back and look at those trig ratios of the regular ratios and the inverse, go back to those. Pause the video and try it. Alright, by now you should have figured out your trig ratios. If you did, of all 6 of them, these are the answers you got. But you gotta do an extra thing for me. I'm not okay with this answer. I'm not okay with this answer. If you guys figure it out, kudos. But you have not need for you fix the 2 of those. There's something that doesn't look right. I want you to, consider that. And I'm gonna let you figure that out. Alright, I am done here.